Good afternoon. Welcome to Camping with Wade's RV. It's 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. This is Skyler Cooper. Willy D from Wade's RV is with me. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm here live from the University Club Tower in downtown Tulsa again, so we are still doing the social distancing.
We are. In fact, I just got an email this morning that kind of made me a little sad because we're going to continue to be remote from the studio for some time, but that's just the way that the company's choosing to do it. Everyone's being a little different. Independently, companies making their own decisions. We know a lot of things opened back up yesterday, but of course not everything, and it's not just wide open, go back to it. But if you were in traffic, you might think that's what was happening because it kind of seemed like the old days when everybody was just out at 5 o'clock. Let's get an update from you guys. What's happening at Wade's RV?
Well, it's definitely been an interesting week. So we were talking last week about our free hail estimate promotion, and we had lots of people take advantage of that. And after this week, once again, we had another round of that hail. So we've had lots of people coming in to get some of those free estimates and then going ahead and getting that hail damage repaired. And then with everything kind of opening back up, we've actually had a lot of the guys working from home. And it's really good to have everyone back at the store. We're a big family unit at Wade's RV. And so it seems like we haven't really been around all the family members here recently. So it's been really good to have everyone come back out, and then a lot of our customers as well. Obviously, everyone's been social distancing, staying away from the crowds, and we have a lot of customers that hang out at Wade's RV a lot. They store with us, they come get their service, and RVing is very much a lifestyle, and so we haven't been able to see them as much as we like to, and so a lot of those folks are coming out, and we've really been able to see all of them and really been enjoying that and catching up and getting everyone back on the road so they can get out camping again.
So remind everybody how they can find you and get a hold of you.
So if you're wanting to get a hold of Wade's RV, there's multiple different ways, really whatever's easiest for you. You can always give us a call, and the phone number is 918-291-1011. And also we're online all over the place as well. So we have a YouTube channel, we have Facebook, Instagram. Just search for Wade's RV and it'll pop right on up. And then we have a really great website that you have to check out as well. It's www.wadesrv.com. We have lots of great tools on there. If you're wondering what a payment might be, we have a great tool. You can put in what you think your credit score is, and it'll actually pop out what the interest rate was probably going to be until they actually submit it to the bank. It's not a guarantee, of course, but it'll tell you kind of roundabouts where you're probably going to be on that. If you have a trade, we have a trade-in tool that will give you your trade information within 60 seconds, and that's based on the NADA book. So that's not me giving you the value, but let's say you do have a little bit of damage or something, you can upload pictures. That way Wade's RV can see that and give you the adjusted value. So always check out that website, and we have our blogs on there. So if you're looking to learn more just about camping or different things in general, we have lots of great information, product information, lots of new stuff on there. So get online and check us out.
Sounds good. And before we get to any questions or callers, make sure you get a hold of us. You can text us at 95920 with any camping or RV questions you have. Willy D's got your answer. You can also call us 918-460-KRMG, 460-5764. Willy D, yesterday I was doing a story on the KRMG Morning News from our consumer warrior, Clark Howard, and he was talking about travel and vacations this summer and how so much has changed and so much is going to be different this year. He doesn't think people are going to go to New York City and big populated cities because of COVID-19. He's thinking people are going to go out to remote places. They're going to go even a beach, to the mountains, out camping even. So he talked about how airlines, let's say Southwest Airlines was the example he gave, they've filled 6% of their seats in the last month. And then a lot of their planes are just parked. So people aren't flying. There are people flying, but the numbers are greatly reduced. And we have a piece of audio here that we want to play from Clark. I thought we have to save this, set it aside for Camping with Wade's RV because it looks like it's a trend. So let me play this for you, Willy D, and get your reaction. This is Clark Howard on RVs.
And I think you're going to see that people renting RVs is going to be a really preferred way of doing things. So I think we're going to quickly hit maximum demand on RVs, and there will be shortages of them as we go through the summer vacation season, because that's how people are going to feel comfortable going to get away. And you'll find that a lot of areas that have a combination of state and national parks, that you're going to find that in areas where there are state parks that are adjacent to national parks, the state parks will be less crowded than the national parks. If you want to still continue to have your own space, when you're looking at a place you're thinking of going, if it isn't a park, look at what obscure, unknown state parks are nearby. And that'll be a way for you to have more potential isolation from others.
Willy D, your thoughts on that?
On that, I think he's exactly right. So camping is definitely going to be the new future of vacationing because you are away from people and you are going to be away from those crowds. Just like what he was talking about with the airports and Southwest only having 6% of those seats filled. I think that's going to be a continuing trend, but I think it's a good thing. You know, it's kind of bringing back those old ways and these old days, and everyone kind of reminisces on that. And so a lot of people are going to be getting out to nature and really reconnecting. And there's lots of different reasons. For one, it's relaxing. Every time I go out camping myself, I find myself kind of taking a step back, taking a deep breath, even though if I'm sitting in town watching our favorite show, The Office, even though I'm relaxed sitting here, there's something special about being outdoors and sitting by a campfire and going out fishing and doing different activities that just get you moving and get your mind moving in different things. I always like seeing different water structures. If there's a cool waterfall or if there's a dam where they're releasing water, I'm just all about that. And then also whenever you're outside, you hear that wind coming through the trees and you hear all the squirrels and the birds and different things like that chirping. And then there's also the exploration factor. Whenever you're out there, you're getting to discover new things. A lot of the state parks now that they're actually fully opening up, they have all their nature centers. So you can actually, it's almost like little mini zoos in a lot of them. So you can see the different animals that are around that state park and the different area itself. And it's really, really cool. So I think people are definitely going to be getting out there. And a big deal is if you're staying at a hotel, you're talking about $100 a night a lot of times. Camping is very, very affordable. I did the breakdown, and if you wanted to go camping every single weekend, you know, camp 2 nights every weekend, it's only going to cost you about $85 a week, and that's with your camping spot and with your camper payment. So it's very affordable, and you can get out there and you can make great memories with your family and friends, and that's what it's about at the end of, at the end of the day. Whenever you're using your spare time, what do you want to do? You want to make good, positive memories. It's not about working your life away.
Taking your questions. Call us 918-460-KRMG. Charles is on the line. Charles has a question for Willy D about water in the unit, I believe. Charles, welcome to Camping with Wade's RV. How can we help you?
Yes, thanks for taking my call. I want to find out what is the proper way to drain a freshwater drain tank. I opened the low water point valves yesterday and drove through a state park, and I got pulled over because they thought it was a gray water. So what's the proper way to drain the freshwater holding tank?
Well, one way you can do that is it sounds like the state park, they may have been making a mistake by pulling you over. I can totally see why they would pull someone over. Seeing water come out from the unit, that's the last thing we want is someone dumping black or gray water all over the road. But typically that should be fine if you're just emptying your low point drains because it's like you're pouring out a bottle of water, essentially. But just to keep yourself safe, one thing that you can do is if you're at a gas station, you can pop open those valves, or whenever you get to your house or wherever you store your unit, you can always pop those open as well. It sounds like they may have just been a little antsy that day, myself personally, by hearing what happened to you.
Okay. I usually open them up and drain it as I drive home from wherever I'm camping. It just so happened he was pulled in behind me going through the park. So, okay, I appreciate your answer. Thank you very much.
Not a problem. Thanks for calling in, Charles. And that's usually what I do, so we're on the same page there. I don't think you're doing anything out of the wrong.
You're listening to Camping with Wade's RV. We're going to take a quick break here. If you have any questions, like Charles did, you can feel free to call us, 918-460-KRMG. That's 918-460-5764. You can also text us. The number is 95920. We'll be right back. You're listening to Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
Camping with Wade's RV every Saturday at noon on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Text your questions to 95920 or give us a call at 918-460-KRMG.
Canaro, and we want to know where you are. If you are out camping this weekend, I know a lot of people have been doing that. Willy D's been doing that throughout the pandemic because it's a good way to distance from people. We just want to see where you are. If you want to text us a picture, you can do that too, 95920, and we can just get a shot and a little bit of slice of heaven to where you are, because I know a lot of people go out and they love to put up the lake or whatever their view is, so we want to see that. You can also just tell us where you are. Willy D, we never want people to reveal their top secret favorite spots, but just a general picture or an idea would be cool.
Of course, yeah. We just want steered in the right direction. You don't have to give up your secret fishing hole or anything like that. But you can just point us in the right direction or just send us an anonymous photo. We'll be able to figure out where it's at and go past that. But it is really good to see everyone getting out and exploring a little bit more. I know I've been seeing a lot of my friends who don't typically go to the state parks and stuff like that out, and it's been not only surprising, but I've been really happy by it because it seems like they've gone once, and then the next weekend they go to a different one, and they keep going and going and going. And so they must be having a good time and really seeing what this lifestyle has to offer. And I've kind of been telling them, I've been seeing them out there, and I've kind of been, nudging them, hey, if you get a camper, you can just stay out there. You don't have to be jumping back and forth from the house to the state park. You can stay out there and just really enjoy it and take everything in. So if you are going around and you are seeing all those state parks and you're enjoying what you're liking, think for about $100 a month, you can go out every single weekend and have a camper of your very own and stay out there and really start this lifestyle and enjoy what you haven't been before.
You guys have a new program there at Wade's RV for certain employees?
We do, yeah. So we just started this really exciting program. So if you're an employee at American Airlines, we have a special discount for you. So whenever you go by the store, make sure to tell them that so you can make sure that you get your special pricing. We've had a special deal with Costco for a long time. And so with that, it's a special set of pricing that the public cannot normally get. So if you are an American Airlines employee, or if you're listening to this program and you know someone that works for American Airlines, you got to tell them about this, and you got to go by the store and find out more, because it's going to be really exciting, and you won't believe the deals that you're going to be able to get.
So when I used to sell electronics and cell phones and stuff, people had to bring in a business card or a badge or something. Do you need that?
Correct. Yeah, we need to see some identification showing that you work there. You can't just say, "Hey, I work there," and not have any proof, because we want to make sure you're validated. But the reason why we started this program is because we were actually talking around the store, and I think every single person in the store either had a direct family member or friend that worked for American Airlines, and it's just such a big base of our family and then also our customer base. We really just wanted to extend a special kind of pricing offer for them, and there's going to be a little bit more information coming about that later, and I think it's going to be really exciting. And so if you've been looking at a camper, you're thinking about it, go by the store. We have lots of great deals going on today. I know they're running a big bunkhouse sale. So if you're looking for a bunkhouse, you got to go check out the prices, and they're online as well. So if you don't want to necessarily get out, you want to shop online, we have a new feature where you can buy an RV 100% online. It's really cool. So go on there, find the RV you want, and it's just like Amazon. You can click buy now, and guess what? That thing can be yours.
Hey, can you give us kind of a rundown of what your job is like at Wade's RV? Because I met you as kind of like salesman extraordinaire, but you've become sort of the utility guy. You're doing the radio show, you're doing the advertisements, you'd make deliveries. I know you did one out west this week, but what's a week like for Willy D at Wade's RV?
A week for Willy D, it can be anything. So I have the coolest job, I think, in the entire store, aside from maybe being Wade. But I get to go out and I get to do so much different stuff. I get to go out, I do the deliveries. I have customers that I get to go out and help them with RVs. So if you're looking for an RV and you kind of need steered in the right direction, I can always help you with that. I always like to do it like house hunters, kind of give you 3 recommendations based on what you're doing, what you're towing with, and that sort of stuff. I was out emptying sewer tanks this week. I was wiring one of my customers. He had a loose wire underneath his RV, so I crawled underneath there and got that all secured and wrapped all up for him. I do a little bit of it all. So if there's a job at Wade RV, I think the only thing I haven't done is I haven't got on the mower or weed eaters yet. I've been in the bulldozer, I've been in the bobcats, but I haven't done the lawnmower. So I think that's the only thing I haven't checked off the list. I love working in the shop. Just about anything that needs done, I'm kind of the go-to guy. So if there's a hole, I was washing units this week as well. I just jump right in and make sure it gets done, because what it's about is helping our customers. And so anything I can do to help a customer, that's what I'm there for. So I'm kind of the ultimate customer service rep, you might say.
You had mentioned last week a little bit of an expansion at the 121st store. You have some expansion in both areas? What are those looking like?
Yeah, so we have expansion at both areas. So at the 121st store, we just expanded onto our paint booth area. So we have a totally another paint bay that we're going to be able to use. So we're going to be able to do, for one, more jobs, but then also have our turnaround times increase as well. And so that's what's, if you bring in your RV, you don't want to be waiting weeks and months and all that. We want to be able to get your RV in there, get it fixed, and get it back out to you. So then you're not missing out on camping. But then over at the 161st store, we actually are expanding onto our storage facility and making a little bit of a campground out back behind the store that we have. If you're familiar with where we're at, we have the Wade's RV, then there's the Granite store, and then we also have some property right behind the Granite store, and that's where we're expanding. And we've been getting the groundwork done, and I think they've actually started on the buildings. It's been a few days since I was back there. Wade, actually, it's very interesting. Wade does a lot of this property development himself. He has a company where he has all these big equipment, and this week, when he was developing the land, the bulldozer broke down, and so he had that all taken apart, and he was fixing it. And we talk about him being the RV doctor. This guy can fix anything. I found out this week. He had that bulldozer all propped up, and he was replacing tracks, and it was quite incredible. But he's in there. He's getting his hands dirty, and we are just growing every single day, even with our products. You know, it seems like every week we're getting new products. Recently, we picked up Integra and then Idle Time. Idle Time is that Oklahoma-made RV, which we have a video on, so you're going to have to check that out. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to give away too many of the secrets, but it's an incredible unit at a great price, and it's one of my favorites that we have on the lot.
Coming up on a break here, we have about a minute left. It's Camping with Wade's RV on KRMG. If you have questions about camping, where you should go, anything you want to know, or if it's like Charles earlier and you have a technical question about your RV, you can give us a call, 918-460-KRMG, 460-5764, and let us know. Or you can text us at 95920, and that text number will receive a photo. So like we said earlier, if you want to show us where you're camping, that'd be really cool. And if you want to just kind of give us a look at your rig, I know Willy D would love to look that over, and we can maybe analyze it, and he can give you some advice on how to make it a little better, or we can just use that to kind of spread it around. Willy D, I love the wall that you have in your office of all of your customers that go out camping and they have to send you a little memory.
It's super cool. So if you got those photos, send them to me. You can also send them to the Wade's RV page. Any way you can get them to me, I'll put them on the wall. Come by Wade's RV and find yourself on the wall. It's really cool.
We'll take a break for the news.
This is Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Join the show by calling 918-460-KRMG or text us at 95920.
With Willy D out here today, and we are talking about all things happening at Wade's RV, and things are starting to change a little bit, Willy D. We are still broadcasting this show remotely, but the world is starting to, at least parts of Oklahoma, starting to get back to you just can't even say normal, because we're not normal right now, but it's starting to open up. Things are opening. Businesses are opening. I saw a lot of my friends getting haircuts on Facebook yesterday, which I desperately need. I actually scheduled one. I'm still 2 weeks out, so I'm going to look like a crazy mammoth until then. But, things are starting to get back out. Are you seeing customers changing their habits at Wade's RV?
Customers are starting to come out now, which is really great. People are getting their RVs fixed so they can get out and start camping. It's, camping season has started, but it's a little bit different of a camping season. So we've been dealing with winter where you're sitting around the fires and different stuff like that. It's summertime now. So people are now getting ready, pulling out the swim trunks, pulling out the grills maybe instead of lighting that fire, and getting out for this next season of camping. That's kind of the cool thing, is throughout the year, while you may be camping, your style of camping is going to change, and so that way it's always fresh and it's relevant and it's never going to get old.
Let's talk about that. What are some things that you would change right now as it goes from, like yesterday I noticed it was the first day that I actually kind of felt hot outside. I stood in a parking lot for 5-10 minutes and I was like, oh my gosh, it's kind of toasty. So what changes do you need to make on your RV, and what you take with you when you go from kind of colder fall, winter camping into spring and summer camping?
Well, I would definitely probably change out my fire logs for maybe some different folding chairs and stuff of that nature, maybe some noodles, fishing poles, stuff like that. The big change is, though, like whenever I've been out camping in the last couple of weeks, I haven't kicked on the air conditioner because it's been a really, really nice day. What I do is I usually prop open a window, kick on my fantastic fan. That way it creates a nice breeze throughout the camper, and you get that fresh air from outside as well. Now you're probably going to want to go ahead and shut those windows and go ahead and kick on that AC unit because, like you said, it is getting a little bit warmer. So it's more so in the style. Obviously, you're not going to turn on your heater because it's already going to be warm outside. You're going to be cranking on that AC unit. Also, preparation whenever you're going out, since it has been, a little bit colder. Before, you could take your Gatorades and your Sprites and your Coca-Colas and throw them just straight into the refrigerator, turn on your fridge, and it really wouldn't be that bad. The refrigerator would get nice and cold pretty quickly because it was already cold. If you you go out on a hot summer day, let's say it's a good Oklahoma 100-degree day, and your RV is black or it's just been sitting out there, it's going to be pretty warm inside that RV. And then inside your refrigerator, that's a fancy cooler. So it's just going to be even warmer in there. So you're going to want to make sure that you turn on your refrigerators just a little bit early before you go out camping to make sure that your food and your drinks and stuff of that nature are going to be nice and cold for whenever you get out there to your camping spot.
It's Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG. Skyler Cooper and Willy D with you. If you are out camping right now or planning a camping trip, anything like that, we want to see where you're going or tell us. Text us at 95920 or grab the phone, 918-460-KRMG, 460-5764. Also take your questions, too. Charles called earlier, had a question about how to drain his water properly and not get busted thinking he was doing something wrong. But anything you have along those lines or how to fix it, how to make something work, suggestions for new accessories or add-ons, just let us know. Willy D has that information. Earlier, you mentioned that it's bunkhouse season. What does that mean?
So whenever I say it's bunkhouse season, that means it's time. A lot of the times in the winter, you might have the snowbirds kind of going out, maybe the grandparents or the couples, stuff like that. Well, it's bunkhouse season, so that means the families are starting to come out and start their camping season. So we have a couple great deals going on with the bunkhouses right now. One of my favorite bunkhouses that just came out is going to be the Aspen Trail 3320 BHS. And the reason why this is my favorite is because typically with the camper, it's only going to have one bathroom in it, and this actually has a bath and a half. So if you have the kids or you just your friends or some guest in that back room, they're not going to be trucking all the way through the camper, clocking around, waking everyone up. They're going to be able to use that restroom that's back there, and that way you're able to enjoy a nice night's sleep, and you get to have your own restroom, and you're not sharing it with other people. So that is one of my favorites, and it's really cool because it's a redesigned floor plan. So many times RVs, whether you look at this brand or that brand, they're going to be very similar. At Wade's RV, we partner ourselves with companies that have unique floor plans. So it's not going to be your cookie cutter that you see every single day. So that's one of those floor plans that I like. And then the Evoque. I know you love those Evoques. We still have an Evoque B out there. Someone came and took advantage of one of them, so I think we only have one left. But we still have one of those. And if you don't know about Evoque, let me give you a little bit of a rundown. They're super cool and they're super modern. You have never seen anything like this, I can guarantee, because they stand alone on their own. I was talking to Todd down there at Robertson Tire in Glenpool, and his favorite tires, he's always trying to push them on me, is Michelin tires, and that's what this unit has. And it also has kicker speakers. We got a new sport chassis in that I'll talk about later, and it has kicker speakers as well, and that's made in Oklahoma. I love to stand behind Oklahoma-made products, and they're putting that inside the Evoque. It also has a big shower. That's a very important thing whenever you're looking at a bunkhouse, because many times they just have a tiny little tub in there, and if you're using that, then bless you, because I don't think I can. I usually have to use the park showers if I am using a bunkhouse with one of those. This has a really nice shower. It has a really nice shower head, and it has a glass door on it. So they're not cutting those corners. It also has a fireplace. So whenever you're talking about if you do take that out in the winter, you might not have to fire up your furnace. You can just use that. Or if you are missing those good old campfires, you can kick on that electric fireplace, and it doesn't have to put out heat. So if it is 100 degrees and you have your AC unit on, you can be the one person that actually still has a campfire inside your camper. So that's a really, really cool thing. And they also have a residential fridge, so it'll cool down really fast in the summertime, and it has an outdoor shower, which is always super handy. And if you are wanting to cook outside but not fire up that fire, it does have an outdoor kitchen as well. So if you can think of an option that you can have on a camper that I didn't just mention, go for it, because this has every single thing on it that you could ever want. Power jacks, these things are incredible.
I actually got the chance. One of the times that we did this show live out at Wade's RV, I got an exclusive Willy D tour of an Evoque. And let me tell you, not only do you know everything about them, but they're so cool, because I feel like the Evoque is the great example for someone who doesn't really understand what campers have evolved to. They might be thinking of their grandma's camper and the stuff I used to camp in when I was a kid, and they just think, well, they're dingy and weird and gross, but not even close. They're so nice now. And an Evoque is a good way to kind of open your eyes to that, because it's real modern. I like a lot of white. It's got those cool backlights. Everything about it just screams, this is modern, and this is not what you think of when you think of camping.
Yeah, we have the term for that in the camping community, and it's called the glamper. So if you're a glamper and your husband's wanting to go out camping out in the woods and stuff, but you want all your modern amenities, tell them to come look at this Evoque, because you're going to love it. I take people in there all the time after we walk around the lot, and they just say, I just didn't find something that jumped out as me as special, unique, that just really hit the nail on the head. And I say, hold on, folks, I got one more option, because it is so different. So a lot of times people see that they were looking at something totally different, and then you show them an Evoque, and they may have been looking at a motorhome, and they just totally change tracks because they see all of the modern stuff that is in there and the affordability of it as well. I love to walk people through there, and then afterwards I ask them, what do you think it cost? And then I tell them the price, and they're just blown away by it. So these are great units, and they're super modern. If you're looking for something that's more modern, that's going to be really nice and not going to feel like you're out there with the bugs in an old tent, come out to Wade's RV, because all of our products are going to help you get away from that.
I know you love to give recommendations for people, and you seem to be an encyclopedia of everything there at Wade's RV. So if people want to talk to you about that, what should they do?
If you guys want to, if you ever are looking for a recommendation, or you're like, hey, this is kind of the camping I'm looking for, you can always give me a call or call up to Wade's RV. You can ask for Willy D or any of my guys, and they're willing to help you. But that is one of my favorite things to do, is give recommendations and get people started on that right track, because there is so many different options out there. And I do love RVs. I am proud to say I am an RV nerd and a fanatic, and I am addicted to camping. So if you are looking for some information on it, I can probably help you or get you started at least on the right track.
If you want some questions answered or any recommendations made right now, text us at 95920 or call 918-460-KRMG, 460-5764. Need to take a quick break here. It's Camping with Wade's RV. When we come back, we're going to go a little deeper into what Clark Howard was saying earlier about camping being the future of vacationing, and I'm sure Willy D agrees with that statement. We'll be right back. This is 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
You're listening to Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Get your questions in now. Call 918-460-KRMG or send a text to 95920.
But we can still fit in your questions or anything you want to let us know. If you're camping somewhere cool you want to show us, you can text us that picture at 95920 or call 918-460-KRMG with your camping and RV questions. Willy D, when we started the show, we played some audio from Clark Howard, KRMG's consumer warrior. He is kind of our go-to on all things money, savings, retirement, buying cars. Anytime I see him in person, because he comes to Tulsa a lot, it's like, hey, how do I refinance this? Or how should I buy a car? What should I? There's always just little life things I want to know about. And he's also great with travel. He used to own a travel industry, or a travel agency. That's where Clark sort of got his expertise here. So he is talking about how summer vacations are going to be very different this year. People aren't cramming into airplanes, especially in the last month, of course. Things have been really limited. But through the summer, he doesn't think it's going to be a very quick change. And he was even talking about Airbnb and those other share services that they're just going to struggle, he thinks. They're definitely struggling right now, but he does see a little bit of an increase throughout the summer. But he mentioned camping and RVs as probably one of the top sectors of summer vacations. I'm sure you're all about hearing that and agree with it. How do you think camping is the sort of future of vacationing?
I love hearing that, and I have to stand behind it 110%. And I feel like it definitely is going to be the vacation of the future, because people are going to get out, they're going to love it, and then they're going to continue on with this trend. So it's really great, because a lot of times people in the past thought RVing was just for their grandparents or retired folks. And now people are really starting to understand how affordable and how easy and how fun it is to get out there. And many times I run into this situation. People are wondering, how can I get into an RV? There's lots of different ways. Like I said, we have different discount programs for lots of different groups. Also, if you have different stuff to trade, if you got a boat that's sitting around and you're not using that, but you want an RV, we can trade for it. We have lots of different ways to make sure that we can help you get in an RV. If you have an old RV that's sitting on your property that you're not using anymore, trade that in. Use it as your down payment to get into a newer RV, not necessarily a brand new one, because Wade's RV is known for its used selection. So we have lots of different options out there, but people are going to continue to explore this lifestyle and find out how great it is. And they're going to continue on getting campers and going out camping. If you don't get a camper. There's always, you can go out just tent camping, but you're going to learn that having a camper is going to be just so much better and just make your experience just that much more memorable for you, your friends, and your family. So if you're looking at an RV or you're wondering about how to learn more, come by Wade's RV and see us. Most people choose to come to Wade's RV for multiple different reasons. The first reason is we're not pushy. It's a family environment inside the store, so we're truly there to help you find the right unit or the right solution. If you come in with a problem, we want to make sure that you get that fixed and that it's taken care of. Another reason is I was delivering a unit up to Manford, actually, to the Actar Park, and I'd never been up there. It was really cool, but Jay and Nancy, they had just gotten a unit, and they're loyal customers. They actually gave me the idea to go out to Robbers Cave a couple weeks ago, so I got to do that. They helped me out with the circus because they're the Shriners, and so really loyal customers. But one thing that they told me that really stood out is that people knew their name inside the store, and it's not just their salesman knew their name. Every single person in the store really got to know them. So all the way from service to parts to Wade himself, that was part of their experiences. They came and they looked multiple different times, and they really felt that they were part of that Wade's RV family and community. So if you're wanting a non-pushy experience and you're wanting to learn more about camping and the RV lifestyle, we can make that happen for you at Wade's RV. So come on and see the difference today, because it's not like a car lot like everyone has in their head. When they go to a car lot, they're going to be chased down and all this. That's not the experience whatsoever at Wade's RV. We have cedar wood lined all over the place, and it's a really welcoming atmosphere.
We have 2 minutes left. Remind us, you teased us earlier about the new sport chassis that you have.
Yeah, so I just had 2 new sport chassis dropped off. I'm a huge fan, and I talked a little bit about the Onyx package. So that's a special edition package that Sport Chassis has come out with, and I sweet-talked Brian Lux over there at Sport Chassis, and he got me one yesterday. So we were expecting a silver one, a 2015 silver to roll in, and he sent me a 2015 platinum Onyx Sport Chassis. And so it's really, really cool. If you like music, you got to go in there and put on your favorite song. I got to cruise around in it yesterday, and this thing is awesome. It has those kicker speakers in there. It's got the upgraded interior. It's got the auxiliary switches, so you can put all your outfitter stuff with all your lights and different stuff. If you want to see a little bit more about that, check it out on YouTube. I have a video on the 2015 Sport Chassis Onyx. This one that I did a video on is actually a jet black one, but it's going to be very similar to the platinum one that I have out there right now. So I have that one. I do have a 2014 white Sport Chassis out there. If you're wanting to take advantage of a couple extra discounts, we have some really, really great deals on that. And if you've seen them and you think, oh, it's just really unaffordable, these things are only about $1,300 a month with approved credit, of course. They're affordable, they're going to take care of you, and they're just really cool down to the bone. So get on our website and check that out, or just come by the store. And we're going to be open until 5 today, so there's still lots of time to get out there, check out some sport chassis, check out some RVs, and get out and meet the crew. Once you get out there, you're going to love the environment, and you're going to love Wade's RV.
And they are offering special discounts for people who work for American Airlines now. So if you know someone who works at American, let them know. Or if you yourself, your family works there, head on out to Wade's RV and ask about the American Airlines discount. We are out of time for the day. Willy D, tell everyone how they can find you and get you on the phone.
For one, you got to come out to Wade's RV, 161st and Highway 75, or our service center is at 121st and Highway 75 if you need those RVs fixed. And make sure to give us a call, 918-291-1011. Look us up on Facebook at Wade's RV, and make sure to come and see Willy D. I'm always there.